Never ready, light it up. Let it breathe, let it show. Art is never really ready if you never let it go. Christian Neveready to bring new stars in view. The names you don't know yet, but soon enough you will. It's the Neveready Podcast.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I've been cursed with bad timing, so maybe you can help me with that today. We'll see. Hello again. It is another episode of the Neveready Podcast. I'm your host, Christian Neveready, and today I have got the opportunity to talk with author, practitioner, and a powerful voice in contemporary witchcraft, Zeraphina Angelus. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you came all the way out here to see us.
Yeah.
Actually, not that you came out to see us, but you came all the way. You're from Scotland.
Yeah.
And you traveled from Scotland a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Yeah.
And we figured we'd take advantage. Oh, I figured I'd take advantage of the situation and see if you can be on the show today.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. One of the big reasons is you are someone who's well known in those circles. You also you're dating EA Koetting.
Yep.
So that's already like there's that amazing connection.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about you, because I don't know you very well, and we haven't gone out to drinks or just hang out just ourselves. So this is one of the best ways I figure out how we can maybe just have a little chat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So were you born in Scotland?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised in Scotland.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Around what area?
So I'm in the capital city, Edinburgh.
Okay.
But Americans tend to pronounce it Edinburgh. I don't know why.
I barely even know how to pronounce it. Well, it's not one I think about very often or say, so that's why I have to question. Plus, I'm really terrible with geography.
Oh, me too.
So bad. It's the only class I ever failed.
Yeah.
But you're from the capital city of Edinburgh.
Yeah, in the capital.
What was it like growing up there?
So it was a lot quieter than it is now. I mean, it was, growing up in the 80s and 90s, like before, like there was as much immigration. So
there wasn't as much, you said?
There wasn't as much immigration, so it's definitely a lot more multicultural and diverse now than it was growing up in the 80s and even into the 90s. And it was a quiet place, and I guess like anywhere else in the 80s and kind of early 90s, the 90s, like it was that time before like cell phones and social media and everything. So it was not only like a different place, but it was like a different world, really.
Than it is now.
Than it is now, where all the kids and the teenagers are all on social media, and they're all constantly in contact on their phones and kind of glued to their phones. But it's a beautiful city. I mean, it has amazing architecture. It's a very historic city. The things that I learned about at school that really didn't interest me all that much, I'm much more intrigued by as an adult. So things like the history of the architecture of the old Edinburgh, and then
it interests you, like, I mean, now these days you can look at it and you appreciate it, and do you delve into it, look into like, oh, who did this, why?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when EA visited, and we went on ghost tours, and like there were in the old town of Edinburgh, which is like there's so much history there. There are paranormal tours that go in the old underground, underground vaults underneath the city, and there's a lot of paranormal history and activity there, and of course the beautiful Edinburgh Castle, which stands in the middle of the city centre.
The city centre. Okay.
yeah.
See, that's how I'm familiar with it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, you must visit.
I must. I must even just pull up Google and take a look. Because yeah, like I said, I don't know much. I really. There's certain things that you're just kind of like you grow up because you're sort of made to like learn things that you don't really have an interest in it because someone kind of told you had to.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't just naturally just. So geography was one of those like you have to look at this map. You have to write the names of all the places, and I had no interest in memorizing.
Same.
It would have been better to have gone like through a history tour of something and be like, this is Edinburgh and these things, and it's in Scotland, and these are the, it would be a totally different thing than how they teach it.
Exactly, and bring it to life, make it
bring
real.
it to life.
Yeah.
That,
wow, this really happened,
well,
and
exactly.
people really lived like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I was going to mention earlier. In just circles that I've been reading about, I mean, you're known as the Scottish witch, and it's kind of difficult for me to say that because of the hard T's and S's and H's in there. But I pulled it off.
Very well.
At least I thought I did. But how much does your heritage influence your practice?
Ooh, that's a great question. It's a great question, and it's a hard one to answer off the top of my head, actually, because I suppose, it influences it in ways that I was never really conscious of. So the things that, I've learned about like the history of witch trials in Scotland and some of the Celtic and Scottish witch practices. I've been aware of those, and they've possibly influenced me, but it's definitely not defined my practice because, I think that is more something that is specific to me and really is an individual thing that isn't necessarily influenced by any one aspect of a practitioner's life, like their culture, their heritage. I mean, for some, for sure, it will be. But for me, I think, I've taken on board a lot of different lessons and learnings from different cultures, different practices, different traditions, and kind of just made them all make sense for me, made them on my own.
To what you do with your practice.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and it's I can see that. Just taking like the best advices or the things that really stood out to you, and you just I like that, don't necessarily like that, not into that, but I really like this, and so that you focus on the things that really like stood out to you, and that's sort of what makes it up. But there is something in the background, maybe like just like an inspiration to do this,
maybe, and it's maybe even something like in my bloodline or my heritage and my ancestry for all I know.
Do you have any ancestry with that's got witchcraft in your?
Not witchcraft. So my my kind of family, religious family background was all Catholic, so witchcraft would be very frowned upon. Anything to do with paganism or the occult, but there's definitely a back. So nothing out in the open, but there's definitely a background in terms of telepathy and psychic ability on. My maternal side, my mother's side of the family, and then on my father's side, there's definitely a history there of learning astronomy, which was thought to be something a bit weird and unusual.
Right, for someone very religious.
Yeah.
Even though it's just the stars, but still.
Studying the stars.
Even that could be frowned upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and it's something I don't know a lot about, but it's just has been mentioned. So I've kind of picked that up and been like, oh, maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
What was it that first pulled you into witchcraft?
So I think I was just naturally interested in it from childhood. Maybe it was like I had a very vivid imagination, and maybe it was from even the shows that I watched, the movies, the books that I read. So, I was always interested in anything unusual, anything supernatural. I had an imaginary or thought it was an imaginary, maybe not, but an imaginary witch that lived in the closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was just something that, was for as long as I can remember, this imaginary witch that lived in the closet at our holiday house.
What's your earliest memory of having a witch in your closet?
That she was called Higgerty Haggerty.
Tiggerty Haggerty?
Higgerty Haggerty.
Tiggerty Haggerty. Ooh.
We would go on like school holidays, vacations. We would always go to the Highlands of Scotland, and family had a cottage there. And this was like at the top of the stairs. There was like a little closet that had like the water heater, the boiler inside and everything.
Yeah.
So you could barely get in there. But it was just a fact that, you know, Higgerty Haggerty the witch lived in there. And, so I had quite an imagination as a child. And then I was fascinated in things like fascinated by the supernatural. So like one of my earliest like memories of watching horror movies was borrowing an over 18 movie, like back then it was a VHS video.
Right.
From my sister had kind of stolen. My friend had stolen it from her sister, and it was the Witch Board, which.
Okay, the Witch Board?
Witch Board. It was like a.
That was the name of the movie?
Yeah, it was like an 80s horror about a Ouija board, and this woman getting possessed. And of course, watching it later as an adult, I was like, this is so badly made. Why was I scared? But as a kid, it was terrifying, but I was like gripped.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't sleep for a week, but I was
really
hooked. I loved horror movies.
Like it scared you, but it intrigued you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was like adrenaline junkie or something.
Yeah.
You know, and then from there, I think it was in my early teens, I started getting into tarot, and I started reading about witchcraft and kind of natural, like healing and herbs and crystals, things like that.
Okay.
And I kind of grew from there.
Just kind of opened your mind to everything else.
Yeah.
Like one thing led to another.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned there was the Catholic background. Did you experience or face any skepticism or resistance when you started walking that path from your family?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're a mixture of fear, like genuine fear that this is a bad thing that is only going to lead to
worse things.
You know, worse things, and bad places, and also a bit of kind of, you know, space being created and distance from family members as well.
I'm sure that wasn't easy.
Yeah.
How old were you when you really got into the witchcraft? Like, how old were you when you're like, this is what I want to do? And but also in a sense, it's like, when did you sort of come out or become very like public with like, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. So it kind of came in two stages. So there was, as a teenager, I was practicing tarot and witchcraft. I was really interested in it, reading up on it, and I, at some point in my kind of mid-teens, I got really afraid. Like I got really overwhelmed by it. And I started to I had experiences of feeling, you know, on the movie Ghost. I don't know if you've seen the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, where like the psychic is in a room and all the ghosts are around her, and she's like, she can't get any peace. I had that almost like psychic impression, that feeling. It wasn't that I could see loads of spirits around me yapping away, but I had this feeling of oppression that just didn't seem to ease, and I began to feel afraid. And at that point, you know, there weren't any online forums, there weren't Facebook pages, there wasn't Facebook, you know, so I really did feel quite alone in it. There was like one little local kind of psychic crystal type shop, but
there was?
You know, that's all there was, and you know, the people who ran it, not sure how much advice they could really give. So as a teenager, I really kind of put everything away and just, stopped practicing.
Really?
I think I actually got rid of my tarot cards at that point. Yeah, like threw them away.
How old do you think you were about this point?
I must have been about 15.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and just like put an end to it completely, and then had like periods of kind of getting into it and getting more interested and
Okay.
going down different paths in my 20s, but it was actually in my 30s that I really started to get interested in practicing and learning
Okay.
more
Wow.
about it again. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it was quite a stop from when you started, and then sort of kind of showed a little more interest again. But then you stopped again, and then it wasn't until your 30s you picked it up,
Yeah.
and that's when you got really serious about it.
Yeah, and I really, and I think it's, I had been married for like most of my 20s. So yeah, it was after that I was kind of rediscovering, after ended my marriage, rediscovering myself in a lot of different ways, and kind of trying to go back to, who I was and what my interests were, and kind of find myself again.
Really?
I started getting back into it. Yeah.
So would you say that was kind of the catalyst? Was marriage was ending at that point, or?
No, it was actually after that. I think it was more about.
It was after that.
Yeah. So I
okay.
had the marriage had ended. I had just begun trying to really discover myself.
Yourself.
And actually it was just part of that journey. Like, it wasn't a direct result of the end of the marriage,
Right.
but it was part of the discovery of myself over the next few years.
It gave you the space.
It gave me the space,
Yeah.
exactly, to think, well, what am I interested in? What do I like? What do I want to do with my time? You
Yeah.
know? Like, who am I? It sounds so
Yeah.
corny, but who am I?
Right, no, it's
Yeah.
it may sound corny, but that's all we ever ask.
Yeah,
No one
yeah.
gave us a manual,
Yeah, right.
so we're never gonna know. You know, that's at least that's how I see it. I'm like, oh, we really do want to know who we are.
Yeah.
There's often a difference between what practitioners keep private and what they share publicly. How do you navigate that boundary?
And do you mean in terms of like practice?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what I share publicly, it has to be a bit more elaborate for it to actually really resonate with the client who's watching, or with the practitioner who's watching and learning, and or observing someone else's practice. That it's important when demonstrating a ritual, for example, or when performing a ritual for someone else, that we have the practical and physical aspects to that the person can see, or or feel, or smell, or hear. So whether it's like a in person, or a video, or a photograph, that they can see the altar, they can see the candles, they can see how it works and what's been done, and that then allows them to kind of take it in a bit more and connect with it. And I think in private practice, it's not so much a ritual. It's not like going to church on Sunday is the only time that a Christian will practice their faith. It's like an internal, ongoing, constant experience, and it's the same with any spiritual path or practice. I think it's a way of life. So I may not be setting up elaborate rituals for myself on a daily basis, but I'm constantly thinking about and reflecting on lessons and things that I've learned, things that have shaped me.
Certainly.
What's underneath the obvious and the physical thing that's happening here. Like, I always feel like, where's the lesson? Like, there's always a lesson.
Right.
And everything that happens. I'm like, what am I being shown here?
Yeah.
You know.
So like you have to be a little more like theatrical and show everything, right? Because it is about, you mentioned the senses.
Yeah.
But that's a great example. It's a great way to put it, how Christians just carry their faith with them. To you, it's a faith. It's a, like, in that same way. They're not always carrying a rosary with them, you know, but they can definitely, like, picture it, what it's used for. Obviously, it's a tool. You don't need to have it with you all the time. Okay, that's cool. I never thought of it that way. That's a great way to put it.
Thank you.
I like it. I really like that.
Thanks.
Do you feel that social media has changed the way that spirituality is practiced?
Yeah, very much so. And you know, for better and for worse, I'd say, like, you know, there are the good aspects of it, like the fact that, you know, people can connect, they can learn, they can seek guidance and advice, they can share. It's like anything else on the internet. It can be used to share knowledge and to learn and grow and appreciate, but it can also be full of misinformation. It can be something that actually deters people from having confidence in their own beliefs and their own abilities, and then also, you know, there is the danger that the more we share, whether it's with witchcraft or any kind of spiritual practice or any aspect of our life, there's always a danger when you're sharing something online that you don't know who's receiving it and what they're going to do with that information. So I think it's important to think carefully about what we want to keep private, because once it's on the internet, it's, you know, it's out of our control.
Yeah, that's true. And you mentioned earlier, I mean, when you were young and you got scared when you were overpowered by, you know, I guess those feelings, right? If only there was a place back then where you could go and ask other people who were like-minded, you may have been on this road much earlier in your life. Things would have been a little bit different. So there's definitely so many positive things that could be coming out of the internet and social media. But there's a lot of scary things out there. You don't know who you're talking to. Right. Yeah, so we all just got to be careful.
For sure. And people in the occult kind of online community can be unpredictable as well. So.
The unpredictability is kind of a tough one. For sure. Any sort of volatility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you follow a specific path or tradition, or is your practice more intuitive or self-built?
Yeah, it's definitely more intuitive and self-built. I think, you know, it's it could be described as chaos magic, in that you know, kind of gathering bits of information and pieces of practice from a lot of different sources and different paths. And making those my own, but I think it's, you know, I would describe it just as my own path, my own journey.
Okay. Yeah. What would you consider some of your bigger influences? Like, where would you say, oh, this is where I looked and I saw it, I really like this, or you know, is there a particular place or something written or a book? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in like a lot of jar spells, a jar magic. So it sounds like something that's quite kind of basic, but it's something that can be really powerful. Actually, jar spells.
Jar spells.
Okay. Yeah. So and it is something that, you know, is really quite ancient as well, and things like you know, little protection jars have been. Are still being found from, like, you know, a long time ago.
So I'm a little behind. So what is, I mean, I picture a jar of some sort, but like, what would you describe that being, a jar spell?
So if for example, it was a protection spell, then you can have things in that jar. There are certain, like, ingredients you can put in there, certain, you know, properties that you can put in their ingredients, and even like a written petition or intention.
Like a spell ready to go kind of a thing? Like a spell on the go kind of a thing? Or
well, you put it in the jar, and then depending on what you want to do with so you're sealing it into something. The jar is just a container. It happens to be a jar that's commonly used. It can also be a box, but if it's something that you want to like keep close to you. So if it's, for example, a protection jar spell, and this is something that would be discovered in like ancient practices in Scotland actually, is protection jars. So you would have things like the ingredients in there. So it could be you can use some like bodily fluids in some of them. So and you can also use things like herbs and crystals, that any kind of ingredients
depending on the spell, right? Like
exactly.
Anything. All right, exactly. Okay.
And then something specific, like a property of the person, like their hair, their fingernails, something like that.
Okay.
And that can be buried on the witch's property, so like outside your home.
Okay.
And it's intended to absorb any kind of negative energy or curses that are being directed towards you, and like almost contain them and ground them.
Okay.
And also to offer protection. And then there are things like sweetening jars, where you're using ingredients like honey, and it's more of like a love or romance or influence spell that you can do on others, or for others. And then there are curse jars or baneful jar spells, breakup spells, baneful. Yeah.
Okay.
And so those would be things that you would not want to keep on your person or your property. You would want to either discard in the right way, or place permanently in proximity to the person that's directed at.
Okay. But so anything, it just seems to be like anything with negative properties, you definitely want to keep a safe distance from, even yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If it's close
good
to
advice.
you, drawing it to you, and if it's...
Hope you guys listen.
Yeah. So jar spells, I think, is one of my go-tos in terms of practice. And then I'm also really interested in like tarot. I've been reading tarot since I was like 13 years old. And, that's something that I feel like I have a natural affinity with.
With the tarot.
With the tarot. Yeah.
So this is kind of a pullback, because I'm only a little bit familiar with what tarot does. But for anyone who may not have any idea what tarot does, could you give us kind of a brief explanation or a brief idea of what it is?
Yeah, sure. So it's a form of divination, or it could be called fortune telling in the old-fashioned kind of phrase, but it's basically a system of having a deck of cards that the practitioner can use to pull answers from the spirit world. So if, for example, I were doing a reading for you, I would shuffle the cards and ask you to, or if we were together in person, ask you to shuffle the cards and think about the question you wanted to ask, and then I would interpret the cards that I drew and laid out in the specific spread to tell you what I'm seeing, and so what insights I'm seeing. And of course there is like the traditional meaning of each card, and the the cups relating to love and relationships, and but you're also I think practitioners will have an intuitive sense of what the meaning is and how it applies to the person that they're reading for.
That's what I was going to ask. I guess lead into was you being able to explain what that is, and then because you mentioned you've been doing that for a while, and you've gotten you have a knack for it. When do you consider you getting to a point where you were more intuitive about what the tarot card said, as opposed to the traditional meanings behind the cards?
I think, it's something that I had very early on, and then kind of lost confidence in, or stepped away from, and had to rebuild.
So you were young.
Yeah.
In your teens when this
definitely.
happened.
Like I remember when I was about 13, my best friend's mum would have me like read tarot for her, and like she would get her friends over as well and be like, you have to see this, you have to get a reading. And I was 13, but they were obviously impressed as adults, and then I would take my cards to school and do readings at lunchtime.
Oh, that's cool.
And then because I was at an age where I didn't really care. Like, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just doing my thing.
Right.
And then when I started reading, like, for clients, because I had always just, you know, practiced for myself and those around me. Like, I had never offered like tarot readings for sale, like to clients for a price. Like, I'd never like offered professional tarot readings until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
So at that point, I think it kind of messed with my head again a bit, where I was thinking, you know, I have to do it in a certain way. I have to, like, absolutely stick to the meanings of the cards, and that actually really kind of messed with my ability to intuitively read.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of remind myself and get back into the more of the intuitive sense of reading the cards and seeing what I felt and what I saw, rather than just second guessing and going with the traditional descriptions. And that's where I'd have the most success.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you finally had the confidence again, or
I found that confidence again.
and then you just slowly I'm imagining you just second guessing what's intuitive and what's traditional, and you kind of having to relearn how to just like drop one and pick up on the other, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, but you managed to do that, and you became intuitive again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's, you know, I always had that intuitive ability, but I would second guess it, so I wouldn't necessarily say it.
Right.
So I would see something or I would sense it, but I would think, you know, maybe I shouldn't say that. Whereas, like, I got to the point where I wouldn't hold back, and I would just say what was coming through.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess with that, you mentioning, you know, doing that with clients, has there ever been a time when you gave a client like, I guess, really bad news?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I don't think it's ever been something that was like, there's never been something where I'm like, you know, someone is in like mortal danger or something terrible. I mean, I would never give the kind of news that, you know, it looks like the death card has come up, which means, you know, that someone's going to die. It doesn't work like that anyway. No. You know, the death card would mean there's, you know, a complete change, for example. But I've definitely had to give people news that they didn't want to hear at the time. Yeah. Like, you know, it looks like this person is being unfaithful, or it looks like they're going to be unfaithful. It looks like, you know, you're going to have, if you go up against this person that you're planning to challenge legally, you're going to have a fight on your hands. Things are going to fall apart before they get any better. But I always, in those situations, the clients will come back and say to me, yeah, you were right, that happened.
That happened. I went for it and it happened.
Yeah, he was married. and I don't like giving that kind of news. But
I'm sure you don't.
But the other thing is, you know, I'd say for people not to be afraid of getting readings, because what I'm offering is it's almost like a potential future. Like, this is the outcome of things. This is how things may develop based on the situation at hand. And should you continue down this path in the way that you're doing, but there's always other options. You know, I don't think that the future is completely set. Yeah.
But you're seeing one path.
Exactly.
So that's why it's interesting, because I'm thinking that we're like, well, if you were told this, obviously if you took a different path, did something different, you know, you may have a different outcome.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that.
Yeah, and I think it's almost like, it's a bit like a blueprint to, like, an architect would have blueprints to a house, and like, you've got the core features that are kind of unchangeable, like where the foundation is, or like the dimensions of the house, but then what you choose to like layer on top of that can be decided as you go. So yeah.
Okay. What does a typical day or ritual look like to you?
So it really depends on where I am and what I'm doing. Like, a typical day for me can look completely mundane, where I'm, going to get groceries, going for a walk, working, with loved ones. But the inner experience I'm having, is a spiritual one. So where, something has happened where, I've had a disagreement with someone or something doesn't seem to be going my way on the face of it. It's a very mundane incident or occurrence. But I'm reflecting on it and thinking, what's the lesson in this and how does this tie to some of the spirits that I've worked with or connected with before? Like, what are they trying to show me and how does that connect to things that I've been shown in the past?
Right.
So it can look incredibly different than it feels.
I'm EA Koetting, and you're about to learn secrets that most people will never know about godlike power. Through Become a Living God, I've spent the last 2 decades teaching practical sorcery, spirit contact, and the transformation of the self through direct experience. Magic is already inside you. All you have to do is let it out. Let your intuition guide you to the path that's right for you. Become a living God.
I have to make a retraction. Earlier I said you were dating EA, but you're actually his fiance.
Yeah.
So you're engaged. What's it like being in a relationship with someone who shares a similar spiritual path?
It's an amazing and beautiful thing, actually. It's I can't really imagine it any other way now. Like we've been together. It's about 7 years, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know how long, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's amazing because I think we've seen we've been on our own journeys and grown in our own spirituality, and we've also seen that in each other. I can't really imagine it being any different. Like I think we can talk about things on a very deep level and understand each other and understand things on a very deep level that, if one of us really didn't believe in anything other than the mundane, it would be quite difficult, I think, for the other person to really fully express themselves in their day. Like if EA were trying to express like some of the insights that he's had, and I know that he has experienced that. He's been in a long-term relationship with someone who didn't really have an interest or a belief in anything spiritual or magical.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Complete opposite.
How much you can connect.
Yeah.
And understand each other.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. But and you've had while you live in Scotland, he lives here in the States, like you've made that work.
Yeah.
Has it been, I don't want to say has it been difficult because it's just one of those like obvious questions. Has it been difficult? I get, how does that look like to you? Like you make it work, but what does it look like?
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely something that like we've developed our ways to to be as close as we can all the time, even when we're physically in other locations over the years. We we talk every single day, like several times a day on like video call, and I'm very thankful for technology that we could do that, and we message each other, and we spend time together in person as much as we can, as regularly as we can, and I think it's really important to have that really quality time together as well, and that while if we were living together all the time, like, and that is the plan,
goal. Yeah.
the goal, like, and we might be seeing each other like every single day, but if I were going out to work or EA were going out to do his thing, we might not actually be spending as much like dedicated like one-on-one time as we have been able to do, which has been amazing. I think just being able to spend the time together and really appreciate that time and make the most of it.
it gives you that perspective, like you said.
Yeah.
Like you might be living here, but you may not be able to have the quality of time like you would the way that you're living right now, because you do take those extra steps to maintain that connection.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I had no idea that's how you felt, and like that's a good way to put it. Like, yeah, you could be here.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's really
thank
pretty.
you. Yeah.
Well, and as I was asking you things about to set up the profile, you had mentioned that you had contributed, and I can't remember. It says the Gatekeepers series. Is it a series of books that EA has written? Is that right?
Yes.
And he's he's collaborated with a few people on these as well.
Right.
And you are one of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Has there been a few books that you've collaborated on, or?
Yeah, so several of I contributed to several of the series of the 9 demonic gatekeepers. So there was that was how I kind of began contributing and began writing.
Oh, okay.
Or with EA, and then separate to that, I've co-authored a book called Protection Magic.
Protection Magic?
With EA and another author and practitioner, Maggie Moon. That was a grimoire that I worked on, and then I co-authored Goddesses of Necromancy with Asenath Mason.
Yes. You mentioned that one. And I was actually going to ask, so what is Goddesses of Necromancy? What's that? What does that dive into?
Yeah, so it's a grimoire that goes into, and it's nine goddesses. So goddesses that are associated with necromancy or the underworld. And so we worked on things like an introduction to each goddess. So, for example, Persephone, Hecate. So from different origins, but all of the same kind of theme. So these are all goddesses that are associated with that theme. So we would have an introduction to each goddess and like explore a bit more about them and their history and kind of cultural and historic origins of each, and then have things like an invocation, path working, a ritual to connect with each one, so that the reader could learn about each goddess and the history behind each of the goddesses, and then start to connect with them and build their own kind of working relationship and spiritual connection to each of the goddesses.
Sounds like a really good introduction to the goddesses itself.
And the plan was or is we kind of had to put it on pause just because I had so much other work going on, so much else going on that I've not been able to continue with it just yet. But the plan there is that it would be nice to do some more in this series, which I'd.
How many have you done on?
That was the first. So of the goddesses.
The Goddesses of Necromancy was the first, but there have been plans to continue and do a few others.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
But you've been so busy.
So we're hoping to do another one, but I had to kind of pause on.
Is Asenath just waiting for you to have some time?
I mean, yeah, I'd say like I haven't had I just haven't had the capacity to be able to kind of set a date or anything for the next in the series. So we kind of just left it that we would, we're working on other projects and we'd come back to
it eventually.
It. Yeah.
Well, how long has it been since you completed or released Goddesses of Necromancy?
Oh gosh, now that you ask, I'm trying to remember. I think it's like 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, but I do have another grimoire that's going to be published soon, which is with just myself and EA, and that's Glamour Magic.
Glamour Magic.
So yeah, that's.
would you mind sharing a little bit more about that? I think on his episode he shared a little bit of it, but I'd love to see your perspective on Glamour Magic.
Yeah, so I think I approached it more with from a kind of like a woman's perspective, in that, you know, glamour magic is there's a perception of possibly even a misconception that it's all about just looking more attractive, looking younger, looking better.
Because the word glamour is in it.
Glamour, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
But I go a bit into the origins and the roots of the word glamour, and, you know, that it really is about casting a spell upon the eye of the onlooker. So it's about creating you know, a projection of whatever it is that you want the other person to observe in you. And so whether that is that you want to be more attractive and more youthful, more alluring, then that's fine. But it can also be that you want to be perceived as you know, more effective or influential in the workplace, or as innocent if you're in a position of, you know, your like your innocence being questioned. You might want to, you know, project that kind of innocence forward. So it really can be, or you might want to project that you're an expert in your field, no matter what that is,
right?
And you project that confidence and authority.
Interesting. So, yeah. That's exactly, because that's actually the reason why I asked, because one of my questions is how does glamour magic go beyond appearance into identity or energy? But because the word glamour is in there, and we just think, you know, it's about cosmetics or looking pretty and attractive and long lashes, things like that. So I really wanted you to delve into, and to be able to just, I guess, own the room. That's a huge thing. Who doesn't want to be able to do that?
Yeah,
Who doesn't want that kind of power?
Yeah, definitely.
Or just give off that kind of energy.
For sure.
So thank you for putting it into, I guess, explaining it beyond it being about glamour.
Yeah, no problem.
That's really cool. So how did that come about, that collaboration? Like, what was the thinking into, like, hey, you know, let's do a book like this?
Well, it's part of a series of spell books that have been, the EA has been creating and, you know, collaborating with other authors on. So they're it's a series, and one of those was the Protection Magic spell book.
Okay.
So it's it's part of the spell book series. And how we came to do glamour, I think it was something that's just been it's been planned and in the works for so long. I can't actually remember like where the idea came from to do that.
I don't know if if followers have brought it up, and there's just been like a demand for it in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's an idea that, you know, has come up in a lot of conversation, a lot of the live chats that live streams that the EA does, you know, it's definitely something that is a very popular topic.
Yeah.
Okay. At the moment.
So you're like, might as well, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I remember when he mentioned it. It was one of those where I was like, what? But then as he elaborated a little more, I'm like, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So
it's nice to do a book just the two of us as well. It's the first time that we've done that. Just
the two of you.
Just us.
Because the other ones have been like him, yourself, and like one or two others.
Yeah, exactly.
But this has just been your babies.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's nice.
That's really fun. Nice. His and her project.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey guys, this is Christian Navarrete from the Neveready Podcast. I want to take a quick moment today to tell you about my family's restaurant, Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant. That's right, located here at 929 West Sunset Boulevard, Suite 18 at the Phoenix Plaza in Little St. George. We've been serving the St. George community for over 30 years with some of the freshest ingredients my mother, Sylvia, personally selects herself to make sure that the food is made with lots of love and tons of care. Yep, we've been here for quite a long time. But if you're really, really lucky, you'll be served by my amazing cousin, Angie. Angie, let them know what days are we open?
So we're open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m.
We've got lunch specials running every Monday through Friday, plus a full bar ready for whatever you're sipping on. Can't stay? Grab it to go or order directly on DoorDash. Need a suggestion? Well, my friend Natalie swears by the steak nacho fries.
What a time to be alive.
So if you're in the area and craving some amazing Mexican food, come try us out. We'd love to see you. Ernesto's Mexican Restaurant, located at 929 West Sunset Boulevard, Suite number 18 in St. George, Utah. You can call us directly at 435-674-2767. So what's one of the most unusual or unexpected experiences you've had in your practice?
I think one thing that jumps to mind is where something that I've believed my entire life or most of my life has turned out to be completely turned around. So an example would be like a superstition that I always believed firmly was about breaking mirrors, and that if you
7 years bad luck.
Yeah, 7 years. I've fully believed that, and it's only been through my practice and through working with EA over the past few years that has really turned around, whereby as part of developing my knowledge and my skills in protection magic, I now understand the different ways that glass and mirror can be used in rituals, but also can be interpreted in that broken glass can mean that a curse is being trapped and shattered. So things like that, where for the first time I've seen a broken mirror, or I've had a mirror fall off the wall and shatter, and I've realised that is my protection magic working exactly as it should, rather than being freaked out and convinced that I was about to have a really hard 7 years ahead.
Well, that's good.
That's one of them.
Well, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people will listen to this and have that revelation themselves.
Yeah,
because I've never heard anything personally like that would say the opposite of that. So
right, and so then when I heard that, I was like, that can't be right. I don't know about that. So of course I started researching it, and really there is a lot of history in there about that being a very real an ancient belief in that the idea of broken glass trapping negative energy trapping spirits is one that's been around for a long time, but not many people know about it. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I have a deep fear of mirrors. I just don't like, and for a minute there I thought it was like, I'm afraid of my reflection. Like, no, I'm afraid my reflection will start doing things that I'm not doing. So I do have a very, I don't like having mirrors anywhere. Like, I will have them at the house, but I'm always like, I'm not looking.
Oh, really?
I'm just very uncomfortable with mirrors. So.
Especially like in the bedroom at night. I think I probably, like when I was growing up, I always had mirrored wardrobes. And then I watched the Poltergeist movies, where like she has these mirrored wardrobes, and like something happens with the ghost. I shouldn't scare you with this because you already don't like mirrors.
No.
Make it worse. But yeah, for a long time I really did not want to open my eyes when I was facing those mirrors.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I had something I have to kind of get over. But there's that little that sinking feeling that I'll just be watching. There's the vanity my wife has up there, and I'll just be watching TV. And I swear, sometimes from the side of my eye, I'll see something move. But it could be the fan could be. It could be anything. But I was like, oh God, it was nothing. So yeah, it gets me. But So a couple other things. You're very funny.
Oh, thank you.
You're very funny.
So are you.
We've had the opportunity to see you at an improv classes. And anytime you get up there, you kill.
Thank you.
And there's not even a question in there per se, but I guess if there would be one, it would be, where do you think you get your sense of humor?
Do you know, I think like growing up with an older brother, I think that we would always like laugh and joke together, and you could have that slightly darker humor like between siblings. I think that maybe if I'd been an only child I wouldn't have had, or and maybe it's something as well, like I think, you know, I was always able to have a lot of laughter with my family, so like with my parents and with my brother, and even like with my brother laughing at my parents or one of them. I think it's something there, and it's just something that's always been like a part of me. I've always loved to laugh and to see the humor in things, and to laugh with other people, and to, you know, I think it's very important to be able to laugh. It's like one of the greatest medicines in the world.
I agree.
So, yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. But you've got quite a knack for that, in the sense that people will be, you know, in the improv classes that I've seen you do your thing, it'll be like everyone else around you is saying things. You're just this kind of quiet thing right there, not saying much or at all anything. And then 2 words come out of your mouth and everyone is just rolling. Like, it is such a fun thing to watch, and just be like, oh, what's she going to say next? You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just works really well. I'm just like, I'm always just so impressed, and I love when you make it to the improv class. That, and the idea that when you come, the girls are also going to come too. I love it.
It's so much
fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah,
So.
I love it as well. It's funny because like EA will say to people that have maybe only met me once or twice, you know, she's really funny. Like, she makes me laugh all the time. And they'll be like, really? Because I'm very quietly spoken. I'm quite a quiet person, and I don't necessarily talk unless I have something I really want to say. Like, I'm quite introverted.
Well, you pick and choose your words.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, well, and I'm glad you also said that, because I have always just wanted to, like, I guess, have a little more conversation with you, but I also am a little introverted, and I don't feel like I always have to talk unless we're in those group settings where we're all just making really stupid jokes and just throwing them out. And so I get a little bit in my head about being able to talk to people and connect. And so this has been nice, be able to like chat with you, get to know you a little bit better. And then I feel more at ease knowing that you choose your words as well, and you're not a loud person, because I'm like, it's one of those things like, is it us, or I don't know how she's around her other friends, you know, like that kind of thing. So I never know, but this makes me feel really good, just knowing that you are naturally kind of quiet.
I absolutely,
But then when you say something, it's hilarious.
And it's funny, good. Like, I would never know that you were introverted in any way, because like you're so funny, and you always like have such like a presence and like confidence, and you act, and
it's because I surround myself with the funny people, and so I'm like, look over there for a minute. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute over here.
It's amazing that like you never really know like what's going on underneath, you know, the surface with people, and like I've always been quite quiet, and I remember a coworker at like a place I worked at years and years ago, saying to me, you know, I thought you were kind of a bitch, but now I'm realizing you're just really quite shy.
That's really funny to go from, she doesn't talk much, must be a bitch.
She must be a bitch, but I could see how I would give that impression if I'm just like not really talking.
Not really
much.
talking.
Just, they thought I was just sitting silently judging, but I wasn't. I was thinking, I don't know how to contribute to this.
Contribute to that. That's really funny though. I think a lot of us go in that direction. We think like, oh, what's wrong with them? But it's our own little hang-ups. We've not educated ourselves enough, and not thinking about like, oh, they're probably just quiet, or, you know.
Yeah.
For listeners who feel called toward the path, where should they begin? Do you have any idea like where you would tell them to start?
Yeah. I would say, and I'm not trying to plug EA's website or anything, but I would say, you know, do your research, read about different spiritual paths, different practices, like read about it before you even feel compelled to start practicing or trying out different things, and don't feel like necessarily like you have to pigeonhole yourself into one category. There is so much information on the Become a Living God forum.
Okay.
That's just open to the public, and it's there. It's
And that's EA's forum, EA Koetting's forum.
Yeah, so it's
Become a Living God.
through Become a Living God. Yeah, and I mean EA isn't involved in like it's a bit like it's like a free kind of platform for people to just actively participate and engage in and contribute. So he doesn't have like we do have moderators that kind of oversee the site and make sure that people stick to the community rules and things. Right. But that he's not actively like participating or monitoring the
Every
content.
thing,
It's
right.
for everyone just to contribute towards. So there's loads of information there. Okay. But also just picking up different books or different sites and reading about different spiritual practices and beliefs, and so you learn. Yeah.
Is there any particular, I guess, site or a book that you were like, this one really got to you, or it really opened your eyes to things, or maybe made you more curious?
Yeah. So like some of the books that I think really stuck with me or really influenced me, like before I even kind of got introduced to some of the books that I've been introduced to through EA. So some of the grimoires that he's introduced me to. Yeah. Like so in my 20s, reading the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Okay. And then another book that he'd written, The Satanic Witch, and it was it was just a very unique new way of seeing the world through reading those books. And that's not to say that I'm a Satanist or that I'm labeling myself as anything.
No, not at all.
It's just that those books were
they're informative.
They're informative, and they are about just seeing the world through a different lens. Yeah. And actually the Satanic Witch was a book that I've mentioned in Glamour Magic because it was something that was quite influential to me at that time. There was a lot in there that was really good, but equally there were things in there that didn't work. And one of the things that I've written about in Glamour Magic is that not every ritual or piece of spiritual advice will fit every person. That's following it. And there's an example I gave where there was an instruction in the Satanic Witch to to try to make yourself feel sexier so that you would give off that persona of being sexier. And it was about going out in public wearing something a bit racy, like lingerie under a jacket or something, so that nobody else would know that you had this kind of sexy secret. But the idea was that you would know it, you would feel more confident, and you would exude that confidence. But of course I chose to practice that going grocery shopping at lunchtime, and going down the freezer aisle shivering with a bunch of old age pensioners around it. It's just it was
hard to feel sexy.
It was
whatsoever.
Not sexy. And so I can laugh at it now. At the time I was like, I'm not doing it right. But I realize now it's like anything else, it's about context. You have to make it work for you. You have to do it the right way. You know, take what works for you and use it. If things don't work for you, you've tried them, put them to the side. It's not a failure. It's just experience.
Although that advice does sounds like something someone sort of was like, what would make you feel sexy is doing this. Yeah. But I don't think it's actually practical. But it just sounds like it was a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
But until you practice it, and you're like,
time and place, people. Time and place.
It's interesting. No, it's funny. Like, I didn't feel sexy. I was cold. I was cold around all these old people.
The freezer aisle was a bad choice.
That's funny. That's fantastic. That's great. Where can people find your work, follow your journey, and support your upcoming projects?
Thank you. So you can find my work and support my upcoming projects through Become a Living God. Okay. So I have, you can find my consultations and tarot readings and rituals for hire on the Become a Living God website. Cool. That's the only place that I'm offering like consultations, readings, rituals for hire.
Oh, for now, yeah.
For now, yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of following my journey, that's probably a lot more difficult. I've made that more difficult than I used to because, I was on social media previously, but I've taken a step back from that. So I really have, I value my privacy and my sanity too much to
so really just have it all out there.
Have it all out there.
Yeah.
I think I had to make a choice at some point just to take a step back. That's been a much better thing for me. But I do have I have TikTok where I don't really post on it, but I have it to connect with other practitioners and to, let's say, follow EA, and I'm moderator for his TikTok live streams every Monday, and I do the same for Odyssey. So I'm on those platforms, but I don't post.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mostly moderate.
I moderate, and I contribute as well, and like engage in the chat and things like everyone else. But occasionally, when we can, I'll jump on a live stream with EA and on one of his Odyssey live streams, for example. Other than that, maybe that'll change at some point, and I'll do more social media. But
hopefully, it doesn't take another 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad that you're not completely gone. Because I was asking about because I was looking to see where you might have a channel or something I could maybe put onto the show notes, and then was reminded that you were out on social media, but that you've had to pull back. I'm sure there's a lot of things going on. I'm glad that you've only had to pull back and that you're not completely, gone the way of the dinosaurs. I mean, you're still here and you're still contributing. You're still being a big part of that community.
Yeah.
That's good. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you might have in the works, or?
So I definitely would like to work with Aseneth again and to reconnect with her about working in future. And she's an amazing author. She's an amazing sorceress practitioner, and I respect her and I value her, as an amazing idol that I look up to, and also as a wonderful person, so much. So
that's fantastic.
I would definitely like to work with her again. And who knows? I'd like to do more writing. Currently, it's just about really having the time, the capacity to do as much as I can. But
so busy. It's that time, and just time comes with a lot of things. It's not just time. We'd like to think that it's that easy, but we know it's not. But like I said, I'm glad you're not completely gone.
Thank you.
You're still here.
Thanks so much.
So, well, with that, we are going to close down another episode of the Neveready Podcast. Thank you guys for coming in, listening. Remember to like and subscribe, because that would be awesome. I would love to see you guys do that more often. And any questions you might have, because I would love to have questions, and we can ask our guests these questions.
For sure.
It'd be great. So just a reminder. But again, we've had with us today author, practitioner, and the powerful voice in contemporary witchcraft, Zeraphina Angelus. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure.
Really appreciated you coming today.
That's been great. Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Never ready, light it up. Let it breathe, let it show. Art is never really ready if you never let it go. Christian Neveready to bring new stars in view. The names you don't know yet,
but soon enough you will. It's the Neveready Podcast.
The Neveready Podcast, created, hosted, and edited by Christian Neveready. Executive produced by Brian Neveready and Heather Miller. Theme song developed by Michael Orge and Austin McDonald with lyrics by Christian Neveready. Check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Copyright